back and listen, it'll make your grin. Every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wednesday night's Pilgrim's Great Chronicles. And I have had so many hair-pulling issues tonight trying to fix this audio for Monday. I think I've got it fixed by using a virtual cable and having to do all these crazy adjustments for like everything. And oh my gosh, it makes me wish I had some sort of wizard here who could help me out with this. But sorry the show was late, but I wanted to make sure you got good stuff. Not that crappy audio quality from Monday night show where actually the overall quality was pretty good mic-wise. The media was terrible. It was thin and horrible sounding, so I figured out a way around it. Well, anyway, we'll find out tonight when I upload this, because when I upload it, it will determine whether or not the audio quality is going to totally suck again. I hope that it does not. If I had more time to be able to test this before, recording, I would, but I've got to work all day and then, come home to this. So, sorry, that is just the way it goes, and I apologize. But, outside of that, I would like to welcome those of you who are return listeners, and those of you who are not, welcome to Pilgrim's Great Chronicles, our Wednesday night show. It's an evening beneath the lantern glow, right? So the Pilgrim's Grey Watchtower, the inn, where the road brings word from far and wide. And tonight, we pause our long march through prophecy and shadows to open the scrolls you've sent in, the questions, the challenges, the praise, and the ponderings, each one a footstep in the greater journey, right? A spark of light in the gathering dark, because the road, it goes ever on alone, right? And winds through the hearts of voices across the realm, and we are grateful to hear yours. So stoke the fire, pour a draught, and settle in. It's time to weigh the words of the fellowship, from seed wars to sky clocks, from secret kings to fallen things. This is the midweek watch. And again, listening to Pilgrim's Great Chronicles, let's get started. Tonight, because I have burned up so much time, and again, I apologize, just trying to get the audio on this new software up and running, I'm going to have to skip over reading through the emails. I guess what I'll do Friday night is after I do the top 3 stories is I'll go over some of your emails. There wasn't a whole bunch this week anyway. There's, I think, maybe 4 or 5 comments and some emails that I'm going to be sharing some of the stuff that was sent in to me tonight, but I have some emails that aren't meant to be read on the show. So I won't read those, but I will share the things that you sent in because they're pretty cool. You can see I've got one set up right here. So we're going to go right to it. And what this is dealing with here is, remember the bloop, the gravity bloop that I mentioned last week, I think for our top 3. I wanted to show you a visual representation of it. So those of you who want to be able to watch the visual presentation and not just listen to this guy, it's about a 3-minute long clip. But anyway, in this clip, they're going to be discussing this weird gravitational anomaly at the bottom of the Indian Ocean. And I have subsequently found out and meant to find this clip for you as well. There's this glow that's also happening in the eastern portion of the Indian Ocean, and they've been trying to figure it out. They've tried to figure out if it was some sort of bioluminescence, but it isn't. It can't be, because all the kind of bioluminescence that would be able to display requires wave movement and sort of it like on the shore kind of a thing. You've seen it, the bioluminescent creatures that wash up on the shore. Well, part of the reason they're lighting up is because of the movement and the splashing of the water. This is like near the bottom, right? And it shouldn't be glowing, but there's something glowing at the bottom of the Indian Ocean, which is totally bizarre. But that's not what I have here tonight. Maybe I can show that in a future clip. But tonight, give this a listen because this is pretty weird here. Check this out. As long as this works, maybe I'm the one who's not working. Let's see here. Yeah, let's go. Boom, and here we go.
Well, it's now time to talk about a mystery. Something weird has found under the depths of the oceans. Well, to be specific, under the Indian Ocean is where this has been found, where a giant hole has been baffling scientists. Watch this report to find out what they found and how researchers have now managed to unravel this mystery.
Our oceans are full of mysteries. More than 70% of our planet's surface is covered by oceans. And yet we know so little about it. More than 80% of our ocean is unmapped, unobserved, and unexplored. Oceans contain 94% of the world's wildlife and 97% of all the water on our blue planet. One of the many mysteries which have puzzled scientists is the presence of a hole in the bottom of the Indian Ocean. Well, it's not a typical hole from where water is seeping. And scientists now know what's causing this anomaly. Well, simply put,
I hate to say it, but if the Earth was shaped like that and spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, we'd be in a lot of trouble.
Blame it on gravity. The gravitational pull is constant on our planet. But our planet is not a uniform sphere. Different regions exert a different gravitational pull depending on the mass of Earth's crust, mantle, and core beneath them. Scientists have now identified this low-gravity anomaly. It is spread over 3 million square kilometers in the Indian Ocean sea floor. It is located about 1,200 kilometers southwest of India's southern tip. Scientists studied more than a dozen computer models of how the region formed over the past 140 million years. As Earth's tectonic plates shifted around, each model used different variables for the convection of molten material within the mantle. Studying at various models, scientists have concluded that this gravity hole may be due to low-density plumes of magma, disturbed by the sinking slabs of a former tectonic plate. Bureau Report, we own World's One.
We are one, you and I.
Okay, we don't need to see all that trash. So I don't buy their explanation. I just think it's weird. I just didn't want you to take my word for it. I wanted you to see there's literally a report of this bizarre gravity anomaly. It shouldn't happen if what they say about gravity is true. And the volcanic explanation, as far as I'm concerned, makes as much sense as the explanations that you see for why these amazing buildings we find all over the place, have these ridiculous explanations for how they got there. They reuse names, and virtually every one of them at some point burned down, was rebuilt, burnt down, and then was built back again. It's so absurd. And I know some people say that was the millennial reign or whatever, and I've heard other people discuss it. One of my favorite persons that talks about it is the guy from my lunch break, and I love his voice, and I think he's fantastic, and he's a great storyteller, and I love his sense of humor. We both kind of have somewhat of the same sense of humor, and it truly is absurd what you come across when you research these buildings. And maybe at some point I'll do some of that for you so you can see the kind of absolute hogwash that passes for it. It's like the most recent show. It is almost like AI ran a bunch of explanations for who built the buildings, and typically all they ever put is who is the architect. And it's amazing to me, the same stories are used over and over again. Like uh, this architect that built it just happened to win a contest. Like there was, yeah, it's, and okay, so you would think, okay, well, so yeah, maybe he did win a contest. I'm just telling you, when you go to read on each one of these buildings in all these different places all over the world, there's a bunch of architects that won a contest to be able to build like a mega structure. And it's the same story being rehashed and reused. And it's over and over and over again. If it was just one or two cases in a big city and somebody won a contest, fine. But it's not. It's over and over and over. It's almost like the weird comms that they use on TV, right, with numbers and names. And if we ever figure out exactly what these societies are up to that are trying to obfuscate and hide things from us, it will be a great day, perhaps. All right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more clips to show you that were sent in. This one, which was aired 9 years ago on CBS, the reason I bring this particular one up is because it dealt with, and I got into a debate with somebody, well, I say debate, but, sometimes you bring things up to people at work, and they're like, oh, okay, well, whatever, cloud seeding, yeah, okay, whatever you say. And it doesn't matter that you could show them, stuff going back to the Vietnam War where they were allegedly, the CIA was seeding clouds to flood the jungles to disrupt supply lines for the Viet Cong, the North Vietnamese army. And so, we're light years ahead now. But so this is almost a decade ago. And I think this guy's name is something Makiku or something like that, but you'll see. So let's play the clip.
Lasers? Really? To change the weather?
That's right. Well, as Mark Twain once famously said, everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing
I would prefer to see them do a rain dance. Would you not? Yeah.
trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. Go ahead.
Well, this fascinates me in part because, too, I remember reading the stories that China had used this during the Olympics, that the USSR had used this after Chernobyl to create rain clouds. I mean, did those really work then? We have some of these capabilities now?
Inconclusive. Even in the 60s, the CIA used this to bring down monsoons during the Vietnam War, to wash out the Viet Cong. Governments have been
Alleged to.
Alleged to, right.
Yeah.
Now,
Alleged to. Look, if it's out in the open, even a decade ago, it's not alleged. Anyway.
We realize that for decades now, these governments have been alleged to have experimented with weather control, but nothing conclusive. This time we're bringing in the laws of physics rather than simply waving our hands and uttering mumbo jumbo. We're actually using trillion-watt lasers now. And in the laboratory, sure enough, they precipitate rain out of water vapor. Sure enough, you can actually bring down electricity down the beam. Firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning.
Yeah, so, he just described what they do. So my thing is, this is 10 years ago, and the alleged monsoons created by our CIA was, in the 60s. And we've all seen, and well, maybe we haven't, but you can go and look up the patents for all of this. It's a matter of public record now. But we just don't do anything about it. There's so many things we just accept in the world now, right? Like, oh, they're cloud seeding us. Well, okay, nothing I can do about it. Oh, there's these megalithic buildings and these massive Capitol buildings and churches and whatever that we don't even attempt to build anymore. Like the my lunch break guy says, we build ugly square boxes now. we don't build these massive structures any longer. We just, it's kind of crazy, But it's pretty. I mean, you can go, and if you're looking up at the sky on a cloudless day, I can't tell you how many times I've seen it. Right out this window, in fact, when I've been doing a show. Now, you can't see the window. You can see the Pilgrim's Gray Inn sign in the background. But there's been plenty of you who've seen my studio. You know where I'm at. I'm in my music room, where I do music for the band, Pilgrim's Gray. And the album is still out there if you want to listen to it. 11sies and 12s will be out this fall, probably in November at some point. Assuming this meteor or alien invasion that's coming, apparently, depending on what you believe. It's just I've heard so many names for this thing, interstellar object. Then there's, an MIT guy that says, no, this is, the way that this thing is moving without a comet trail, it's probably a craft of some sort. And so now we're expecting an alien invasion, right around the time of, Rosh Hashanah and the Feast of Trumpets and all these different things. I think the end of the year is going to go out with a bang of some sort, don't you? I mean, 8.8 earthquakes. I know the tsunamis were not terrible, but they could have been. And there could be more to come. We're talking about the Ring of Fire, which we discussed a few weeks back. And we don't necessarily 100% know exactly what it is or what triggers these things. All I know is we've got a super volcano in Yosemite fixing to go off any time as well. Japan is expecting possibly a 10 on the Richter scale earthquake at some point, which will probably drown the whole island country in a massive tsunami. And then, there's no telling if, maybe Tool was right in their song Anima. We may all be swimming around Arizona Bay, right, if the California fault goes. And I know from living in Oregon that whole place is a giant shattered plate underneath. So if California goes, you can say goodbye to Oregon and Washington as well. So who knows with all that? I don't, but I trust it's all in good hands with God, and so is my life. So fear not. All right, 3 more to go. This one was sent in to me with a warning. This person was formerly into the occult and got started much the same way, and sent me this particular video because it's so easy to get caught up in it. It's just small things at first, and it leads to bigger things. So let's give this young lady a listen and heed the warning.
My grandmom died and she was my best friend. I really want to maintain this connection with her in the afterlife. And so I went to a medium, and then the medium just knew everything. The medium said that she herself was also a Catholic, and she was working with the archangels, and she was working with God. And she had this deck of angel cards, these oracle cards that I pulled, and it was a spot-on message from my grandmom, so I thought. And that was just like the first domino of many, then it was the crystals and the Reiki and the yoga and the chakras and just everything, like 10 years of it. And you kind of just keep getting more and more like the spiritual buffet when you're in the new age, because things only work until they don't. Astrology was like the thing that I felt like, wow, all the suffering that I continue to go through is justified through my birth chart. It's justified through the zodiac and through my horoscope. And I always say I was like a dark evangelist. I used to have a podcast actually for astrology where I would give like full moon, new moon reports. It got to a point in 2021, the end of the year, where I'm just like at the end of myself. I'm doing this stuff for a decade. Again, it's only working till it doesn't. It's like Band-Aids on gunshot wounds. And my soul just, deep calls out to deep, it says in Psalms. I've just said, Jesus, save me.
Full-grown adult talking to another.
Okay, yeah. That's great. So, yeah, that's all it takes, right? That is all it takes, is to cry out to Jesus. And I can't say that I've ever been drawn to this type of thing. I've read up on it, I've studied it, but I've never wanted to participate in it. Does that make sense? I know there's a danger in even reading about it, but I just like knowing what the enemy is up to, and I want to know what I'm looking at and what I'm talking about if I'm warning somebody. I don't want to just go, well, this is bad, blah, blah, blah. I want to know the subject before I determine that it is based off what Scripture has to say and so on. So it seems like it's from the people that I, hear from on a lot of these things. It is so easy because it starts with seemingly innocent things. And, you have so many people who, gosh, I think of so many people, and I don't want to mention names, but some people think that what they're doing is okay because they feel like they're talking to good angels to do certain things. But you have to be careful with that because it's not like demons or rebellious angels appear as monstrous forms or evil or whatever. It would be very easy for you to be tricked and deceived into doing things that you think are involvement with good things, like somebody who thinks they're a white witch even. But we're warned against these things. And you are messing in areas that we are just not capable of handling right now. The best analogy I can think of is handing a shotgun to a 2-year-old or swimming out in the ocean when you can't see anything below you. The spirit that you are involved with has all the advantage. You don't. It's their realm. It isn't yours. And you may not think you're being lied to or deceived, but it seems to me from all the cases I've seen, in almost every case, you are being deceived. So these people who practice Catholicism and white magic voodoo or Santeria or all these other things, I would just tell you, leave it alone and follow Jesus and forget about this. And if you want to test the spirit, see if the angel receives your worship. Because any good angel I've ever seen in the Old or New Testament or anything would tell you, no, don't do that. Right? Because they're obedient. All right, so this next clip has to do with, obviously, I think this is the one somebody sent me that shows the secondary scans of what's going on under the, not just the Khufu and the Khafre pyramid, but the smaller one as well. These spiral tunnels go down into other tunnels and structures underneath. And, of course, they also discovered openings in the upper chambers higher up in the pyramids as well. So let's check this out. I've had problems with this reel in the past, so let's hope it behaves this time, right? First, we'll unmute it, and let's go. Oh, let's do this first, shall we?
Update about those Giza pyramids.
You are not going to believe the follow-up scans that revealed what's really under the entire Giza plateau. So back in March, these guys came out and basically told the world there are probably large megastructures beneath the middle pyramid of Khafre in Egypt. Massive pillars that go down up to 2 kilometers underground. Well, they released a follow-up presentation going over some new finds. They start off addressing concerns about the legitimacy of their technology that was used to make these discoveries. Synthetic aperture radar scanning. Well, the Khafre boys gave us proof after proof of how accurate SAR really is, from tunnels in Nevada to a mountain range in Italy and the Mosul Dam in Iraq. Their SAR scans consistently show exactly what we expect to be there. And
so I just want to say that was a brilliant move on their part, because the guy that showed up on Joe Rogan's show from Egypt, I can't think of his name, who basically poo-pooed it all. And this was a brilliant counter move to go and show how the ground scanning radar works in other places and shows how accurate the readings are and just how deep it can go. So they've proved their point that it works in other areas just fine. So it really is working in showing the stuff under the ground. And by the way, this guy here, I don't know who he is, but it kind of sometimes drives me crazy that so many people, and maybe they do it because it works. Maybe I would have more viewers if I was just like, all the time and shouting like I've drank 5 Red Bulls, but that's just not my style. So anyway, let's continue.
They performed more SAR scans of the Giza Plateau, starting with verifying the big void above the Grand Gallery in the Great Pyramid of Khufu. Then the Khafre boys go on to reveal this. Similar mega pillars as they found under the Khafre pyramid beneath the smaller pyramid of Menkaure. They present a few overhead satellite photos of the area. Every mark you see on the map here is a shaft, along with even more horizontal passageways that appear to be tunnels that connects everything together. Essentially, a whole underground complex over a kilometer beneath the surface of the entire Giza Plateau. And this is just the start. Megastructures beneath Khafre, Khufu, and Menkaure, all three main pyramids of Egypt. And if you look closely, there even appears to be something beneath the Sphinx as well, all appearing to connect with underground horizontal tunnels. They're working with professors at Stanford University.
There was an update about...
Okay. So, do you not find that interesting? What is going on under the ground everywhere? It's not just these pyramids. They're under massive cathedrals, every place. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's really weird, and I'm not sure what to make of it. I still have so many things I want to study before I speak on them, and I want to get to the bottom of what's going on with these underground things. I mean, I have my suspicions and conjecture, and I've even conjectured before. I mean, I personally think it is a previous civilization run by the Grigori or Nephilim or rebellious sons of God, whatever you want to call them. The other side, the enemy side, always trying to draw humanity into their version of building back better what God has already put in place, right? What God has done is never good enough, or it's archaic, or whatever. And so they're always trying to improve upon it and get us to go along with their ideas. And it always ends in disaster, does it not? Anyway, I thought you would find that fascinating. And here is the last one. And this was sent in by John. John, thank you for tuning in and listening. And continue to email correspond with me and send me this kind of crazy stuff because it's really neat. This is just simply, I don't even know what to tell you other than it's another megalithic structure I'd never heard of before, but I know these kinds of things exist all over this planet. And this is an odd one I've never seen before, and it blew my mind. I always think that my mind can't be any more blown, but every time I see a new one, I'm just like, what in the world? You know, what in the world? So let's hear them out.
Samangan in northern Afghanistan lies a structure cloaked in mystery, the stupa of Takht-e-Rustam. While mainstream archaeology dates it to the 3rd or 4th century CE as a Buddhist monastic complex, its most astonishing feature challenges that narrative entirely. Unlike typical stupas built above ground, Takht-e-Rustam is carved directly into solid rock, complete with a circular dome, surrounding path for ritual circumambulation, and monastic caves, all hollowed out
circumambulation. Okay.
With a precision that defies the available tools of its supposed era. There are no inscriptions, no construction marks, no evidence of scaffolding or scaffolding holes. The geometry is immaculate, the symmetry nearly flawless. How was such a feat achieved without advanced technology? And more intriguingly, why build a stupa into bedrock instead of above it? Some researchers argue this site predates Buddhism altogether. The subterranean design resembles pre-Vedic sacred architecture, possibly linked to cosmic cycles. Could the Takht-e-Rustam stupa be a reappropriated sacred site, an ancient monument from a forgotten civilization, later adapted by Buddhists? Hidden in the rugged...
How about if we just start saying, instead of could it be, how about, hey, we've discovered another one, you know, and then everybody team up together, right, to figure this out. Why, you know, it's pretty clear by now, is it not, that we have a weird thing going on that needs dealing with, and everybody working together, but that's not going to happen because clearly I mean, it's great that we have people out here doing this and doing the on-the-ground stuff, and that we have the technology to be able to film it so they can't hide it from us. So, technology is kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it? Where we can literally go and see things for ourselves and videotape what we can. Because I know they prevent us in a lot of things, right? We can't even go there. But some we can, and it's too late to hide it now. The cat is out of the bag, and you can't unsee it at this point, right? And once you see this stuff, once you find out about it, and you and are willing to accept that the things they wrote about in the pre-flood world and shortly thereafter weren't just myths and fairy tales, but dragons really did walk the earth at one point. Giants walked the earth. I mean, who carved this out right in that perfect circle around this dome and then carved out all the tunnels? I know humans are capable of a lot, but there's just it doesn't have to be either or either. In my opinion, there was a time where gods and demigods walked amongst humans. They presented to us all kinds of technology if we would give them permissions to be able to behave in certain ways with us, including even, I think, surrendering some poor unfortunate humans to them for their blood needs, while they presented technology to those humans who were willing to receive those kinds of benefits and willing to receive that and get that kind of power. That's why it sure seems to me that those who have massive amounts of money and power are almost all sociopaths, because they are willing to work with things like this for temporary gain and power. Maybe they've been lied to and told that in the afterlife they'll receive other benefits. But I've got news for you. You won't. You will live forever, just like Christians, but you'll live forever separated from God, and that's not going to be pleasant. Plus, the guy that's been leading you all down to the toilet, he gets thrown into a lake of fire. What is he going to give you? Anyway, that is tonight's show, and sorry I wasn't able to read the emails. I just really wanted to. It took me more than an hour to do everything I needed to do, and I got home late from work because Wednesday is the busiest day of the week, so I don't know why I chose to do a show. Wednesday, I guess I was just trying to split them up, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if this works, hallelujah, right? I'll start doing shows like this more often, because initially it's very difficult to set all this stuff up. Once you have it in place and it's working properly the way it's supposed to, then it's awesome. But until it is, sometimes what little hair I have, I want to rip it out of my head. But not tonight. My hair is still intact, and hopefully so is the show. So Godspeed on this hump day, the middle of the week, and we will see you Friday night.
It's time for listener emails, comments, and stuff they send in. So kick back and listen, it'll make you grin. Every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, yeah. Central Standard Time, yeah. Central Standard Time, yeah. It's time for listener emails, comments, and stuff they send in.